Namaskar. My namaskar at the feet of our Reverend Baba, and my namaskar to all my brothers and sisters. I welcome everyone to today's seminar class on Microvita. It's quite an interesting subject, and I would I would like to give thanks to Dada Rameshwarananda to give his precious time to share his knowledge with all of us. Thank you, Dadaji. Thank you, Dada Rameshwaranandji. And I also thank Dada Antaranga Yogi for making all the PPTs for all the classes and giving his time. Thank you very much, Dada Antaranga Yogi. And thanks to all the participants here to join and to be present in this seminar class. And without delay, I would request Dada Rameshwaran Dada to start the class. Thank you very much. Namaskar, Dada.
Namaskar. So can we start?
Yes, Dada. Please go ahead, Dada.
Namaskar to all of you. It is after 2 months almost. We are continuing this series of talks, Baba's birthday centenary year program, taking up the ideological subjects he has delivered to us one by one. And in that connection, this seminar subject is Microvita. And before that, I like to come to a mind a composed position by uttering a Shanti part. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, before we proceed further, let us pray our beloved Baba to be present before us vibrationally. Bandhu hai niye chalo, bandhu hai niye chalo, alor oi jharna dharar pane, alor oi jharna dharar pane, bandhu hai niye chalo, bandhu hai niye chalo. अंधार्यर व्यथा और शैना प्राणे, अंधार्यर व्यथा और शैना प्राणे, बंधु हे निये चलो, बंधु हे निये चलो. घोमेर घोर भांगा नुरगाने गाने, घोमेर घोर भांगा नुरगाने गाने, बंधु हे निये चलो, बंधु हे निये चलो. परमपिता बाबा की जय. Now, today's topic is really interesting. As such, every topic related to Baba and his ideology is very interesting. But this Microvita science is quite a new one to the whole world. And to we Anand Margis also, it is not quite common. Now only we are trying to learn it, more about it. So let me very beginning tell you, I am also not a scholar of this science, of this subject. However, I am just a student. I can say if there is at all a course on Microvita, so if there is a primary section, I am only primary student. More is yet to be learned, and I also wish to go ahead with this subject. But presently, whatever little I know about this new science, which is also very, very important, keeping in view the future developments. So I humbly present whatever little I know about this microvita science. Definitely, many questions will crop up in your mind because we have a background of prevailing sciences which we have studied, and it is seems to be totally unconnected. So certain strange feelings also we may feel, and many questions may crop up in our mind. I like to have all those questions summarized or summed up and presented to the organizer of this program, so that in future, those frequently asked questions on microvita science can be compiled together, and we can come up with more preparation, so that all possible questions may be well answered. So, however, this subject on microvita has been put into three parts: philosophical, scientific, and spiritual. You know, the truth is singular, but it is we human beings intellectually try to know it. One approach is philosophical approach. Other approach is scientific approach. And third one is we want to realize that truth. So a realizational approach. Without realization, all this will be philosophy, will be a speculation, science will be a dreamland. So realization is the basis. Something we have realized, some phenomenon we have come across, and we want to know it. And in that process, as I told you, one is philosophical approach, other is scientific approach, and third is realizational. So accordingly, whatever material presently available to me, I have put it in the form of putting three parts. The topics are, I can read out. I hope that is advanced. I had circulated. The organizer might have circulated. If not, you should have it. So, part one, microvita in philosophy. Introduction, reference, some terms used in the science that need explanation, speciality of the science, the theory of microbiome as such, the main point, then how this microbiota theory is related or connected to cosmology, the cosmic existence, cosmology and cosmogony, universe and the origin of the universe. So that also in three parts, as I told you earlier. A, philosophical approach using Vedic terminology. You know, in India, so many spiritual philosophies have been enumerated, and they are all based on being Vedas. The terminology is also Vedic. Then the practical approach of Tantra, the Tantric theory, realization, they have their own terminology. And last one, the third one, the modern approach using scientific terminology. So microvita, the science of microbiome has been now, I am trying to explain all the three approaches. So in Anand Marga, the philosophy, in Ananda Sutram, that part A and B, the Vedic terminology using, and the Tantric using Tantric terminology that are already included Ananda Sutram. But the latest or third one was there was no other philosophical presentation accommodated in that book. Anyway, that forms the part one. And part two, the topics are again to that microvita in science, some introduction, then one by one dealing the sciences, physics, which deals with matter and abstract, matter, energy, microvita. Third one is the Microvita and life sciences. Fourth, Microvita and medical science. Next one is Microvita and human biology. Further, Microvita and psychology. Next, Microvita and sociology. Some miscellaneous subject topics. Microvita and the future. Concluding. That forms my second part of the presentation. And lastly, the third part, Microvita and spirituality. So that also Microvita and plexi, spiritual practices, spiritual cult, vital energy and Microvita, the occult powers, spiritual attainments, kirtana, Microvita sadhana, Sadguru and his role. That forms the number one top point. Next is the luminous bodies and destination after death. What will happen after death? Third one is Microvita research. Regarding research, something has to be explained. And finally, concluding. In this way, in three parts, I have to present these, all the topics related to Microvita. In a way, it forms also an elementary course on Microvita. So in future, when we have to elaborate and develop this theory, understand it more, so we may have to have the courses on Microvita. Keeping that in view, I have presented the seminar classes in that way. So, and that is the about the topics concerned. Now, part one, let me begin with part one. Microvita in philosophy. That is introduction, reference, some terms used, as I already told you. Okay. So part one. So introduction. Yeah. You know, in philosophy, we have already had in Ananda Sutram, as I told you already, using the Vedic terminal Sanchara, Pratisanchara, cycle of creation, according to that. And other one is Tantric theory. Both were dealt in Ananda Sutram. But the third one, where Microvita has coming into philosophy, that was not there. So the Ananda Sutram was published in 1960, where these two philosophies were already sutra form was delivered. But on 31st December 1986, Baba gave a groundbreaking discourse on microvitum. Microvitum, the mysterious emanation of the cosmic factor. He elaborated on his new theory of microvita in many discourses over the following years. He also gave practical demonstrations to make us understand the power of negative and positive microvita. It is being a science, demonstration are to be made. He made many demonstrations. Then microvitum, what is the nature of this science? Is the integrating paradigm of science, which removes the dichotomy between matter and mind or mind and spirit. What we call a dangerous virus today is actually a crude form of negative microbiota, the COVID, corona. This idea needs further much research, especially in the days of pandemics created by viruses. So we first learned about this microbiota from his discourse, RU discourse, delivered on 31st December 1986. Then coming to that introduction post, until now, scientists have been under the impression that no living structure can come into being without carbonic fundamentals. That is, the survival, multiplication, and decaying of any structure is not possible without carbonic structure. Number two, Sri Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar is of the view carbons and non-carbons both get their atomic structure from microvita. A microvitum requires space in theory, but not in realm of physicality. Something we can't think of. Next point, a carbonic framework requires space both in theory and practice. But a microatom is not of carbonic origin. Billions of microvita produce a single carbon atom. And finally, there remain many unsolved miseries in science. You know that science is very developed, but you know also the weak point. There remain many unsolved miseries in science. This new science of microvita has the potential to shed light on these unsolved miseries and the potentiality to expand the boundaries of scientific ability to unimaginable new horizons. In his revolutionary discourses on microvita, he gave us the basics of this new science and encouraged human beings to begin researching microvita urgently. Here one point regarding pronunciation. In Baba uttered this word microvitum and also plural microvita, because some of our Margi brothers, they used to pronounce it as microvita. So I would like to hold to Baba's pronunciation, microvitum and microvita. So next, the references for this presentation. I have with me 4 books. The Microvitum in a Nutshell, an Ananda publication, a compilation of Baba's discourse on microvitum, that is available from Ananda publication. So the authentic text for microvita subject. Next is Microvita, the Cosmic Secret by Dr. Aditya Kumar Mohanty. He is a professor in Utkal. He was a professor in Utkal University, philosophical head of the department, and very learned, has written many volumes of books on different spiritual subjects. So he is the author of this book, and you will know, I would like to inform more about him when I deal the subject later. So next, 3rd book is Rahasyamaya Jivan by Rameshavara Prajapati. That is in Hindi, and he has written 3 volumes, Microvitum in 3 volumes, part 1, part 2, part 3. So he was a science teacher, now retired, very learned man, has gone through Anand Marg literature thoroughly, and very written this microvita topic that very in detail, in authentic manner, but that is in Hindi. And 4th one, of course, Biopsychology by Dr. Jitendra Singh, who is a practicing doctor now in Australia. So these are the 4 books that were concerned with this topic, and I have referred, and they are available also. As resource person, let me tell you here, I have all the 4 persons are staunch Anand Margis, learned ones, and for more than that, I have with me in regarding this microvita subject, Dr. P.D. Narayan is an atomic scientist, now of course about 80 years old, and he was closely associated with prominent astrophysicists and physicists of Nobel laureate standard, Dr. Nariman, and so many people working in Atomic Energy Commission. He was in touch, and he is one of my consultants regarding physics aspect of microvita. And in philosophy regarding, I have already told you Professor Mohanty is in my touch, so that I can consult him wherever I need regarding the philosophic intricacies connected with microvitum. And I have also in my touch Professor Uttam Pati. He is now retired, but he was a professor of life sciences, JNU, New Delhi. So these are the, and Rameshavara Prajapati. I have in my contact these eminent scholars who are well read, well acquainted with the some theory and practice of microvitum. So I am in touch with as my resource person, just for your information. So that when I get any question, I can also consult them, because I'm just a primary student. I have yet to learn many more things deeply this subject. So this is about the references made, and I can make in future if required. Then I come to some terms used in this science that need explanation. You know, science has its own terminology. Philosophies have their own terminology. Tantra also has its own terminology because the concept they are come in touch, that is to be explained. So in this Microvita science, Baba had to coin some new terms. They had to coin new words. So they need explanation. So I begin with few words so that the concepts are clear. It becomes easy for me to deal the topic, deal the subject, and becomes easy for you also. So first is Brahma, that I don't have to say much. That is a cosmic existence. And because it is infinite, cognitive, unending, without beginning, and all the things which we have heard in philosophy called Brahma. Now we had heard earlier, Brahma is two ranks, Nirguna and Saguna, with reference to gunas. Guna means binding forces, binding principles. So, but in Microvita science, don't heard anything about Nirguna Brahma nor Saguna Brahma. We hear Nirvishesha Brahma of Nirvishesha rank and Brahma Savishesha. So, cosmic entity in two realms, two ranks. Vishesha means speciality, characteristic. So, Brahma with speciality, Brahma with characteristics, and that is Nihi. Without speciality, without characteristic, is called Nirvishesha. It's Sanskrit word. Sa Vishesha. Sa means with speciality. Brahma, cosmic entity, with specialities, with characteristics, Sa Vishesha. Then comes the two new words. We have never had heard it earlier. We have heard of Purusha, Purushottama, Parama Purusha, but new word in this sign, Gya Purusha and Krita Purusha. Gya Purusha means the entity. Purusha means consciousness, the conscious entity, knowing entity. In this science, that is knowing principle. In English, Baba gave the word knowing principle. Knower I. Gya Purusha, knower I, knowing principle. Second is Krita Purusha, doer I, doing principle. In earlier previous Ananda Sutram, Ananda philosophy, that Mahat Tattva, existential I, Aham Tattva, doer I. But Baba says we should not compare it. They have some difference. What is the difference? We have to learn. But that knowing principle, Gyan Purusha and Krita Purusha, doing principle. Then no Prakriti mentioned here. Prakriti must be behind. But Gyan Purusha, Krita Purusha. Consciousness in two ranks, two principles. And one word is carbonic pebula, non-carbonic pebula. Now, pebula is a plural, singular is pebulum. So, pebulum means feed, that which feeds, cattle feed, that feed for the cattle. So, feed means pebula, pebulum. So, physical pebulum, that can feed our body. Body feeds on it, that is physical pebulum. The food, the feed that we physically can eat, it is the physical pebulum, which we all know, protoplasmic foods. Non-carbonic, that means it is a feed not of protoplasmic, not of carbonic, but non-carbonic. In a way we can say mundane, jagatic, worldly, and non-carbonic, non-worldly, non-mundane, supramundane, spiritual. So mind, one side is our physical body, the other side is our spiritual existence. So mind has to be fed. Mind can't remain. It has to be fed. It can, through physical body, it is fed the carbonic pebula. The psychic pebula, psychic carbonic pebula. It is not the physical pebula. Mind also worldly thoughts, worldly feelings. Jagatic Chintan. All these things are carbonic, psychic carbonic pebula. So other side is spiritual, mind can be fed from that side also. So that is the non-carbonic pebula feeding the mind. So mind is being fed from two sides, carbonic pebula coming through the organs, coming through the body into mind, non-carbonic pebula, the feed that feeds the mind coming from the other side of our mind, psyche, part, that is the spiritual and psycho-spiritual. So this is just I'm explaining. When it comes to the proper, we will deal it. But just for idea, what is pebula and what is pebulum, what is carbonic pebulum and non-carbonic pebulum. Then next is unit mind, collective mind and cosmic mind. In science, in all prevailing sciences, that is which are based on materialistic worldview, they speak of mind, maybe collective mind in psychology, but that cosmic mind is not recognized totally. So, but this is the science which has its root in that cosmic level. So we have to know about this cosmic mind. Without knowing that, we cannot make any we cannot understand this science at all. So collect unit mind, that is our mind. Human beings, we have a unit mind. Every protoplasmic cell has a mind. So every unit existence has a mind. Living existence has a mind. So unit mind, your mind, my mind, we are all individual mind. Then a collective mind. When we come together, we form a collective body. That collective body, the collective mind of a species, the collective mind of a species. The members have the individual mind as a species. Together, collectively, they have a collective mind. So every living species has its own collective mind, and members have their own individual mind. And then comes the higher level cosmic mind, which holds the cosmos. So let me say, we are living beings. Our collective body also living, a collective living being. Then this whole cosmos, holding this cosmos, the what we say Parama Purusha, God, he is also living being. He is living entity, not a being, living entity. He has to be. Just like my cells are living, collective body is living, holding this a collective body, I am living, unit being is living, and holding entire cosmos, every people living, and that entity, cosmic entity is also a living. So God is a living, he's not a dead God, he's a living, because everything living is in him, and how he can be non-living? So that cosmic existence, which is a living existence cosmically, it is holding a cosmic mind. In that cosmic mind, we all exist. So unit mind, collective mind, and the cosmic mind. And about philosophy, when we deal these three forms of philosophy, the cosmic mind will be dealt with detail. Then ectoplasm and endoplasm. In biology, we deal these cells are protoplasmic cells. This protoplasmic cell inner portion is called endoplasm, and the outer part within the cell wall is the ectoplasm, whitish part. So we are acquainted this word endoplasm and ectoplasm, a plasm, endo and ecto, within the boundary of a cell, the cell membrane. But in psychic side, when we come into mind, it is just the reverse. The mental stuff is the ectoplasm, and the covering the ectoplasm, giving a lining to that ectoplasm, is the endoplasm. It is just the opposite. Here ectoplasm, the stuff is inside called ectoplasm, and the lining of that outer part is endoplasm. The word endo-ecto will be confusing because we are the explanation concept is other way. So endoplasm gives a coverage, just like a bag, a bottle of water. Without a bottle, how the water will be there? So water is bottled. Then water will not spread. So that bottle gives it individuality to that water. Like that, the endoplasm gives the individuality to that mind, unit mind. Mind becomes unit only if it has covered with endoplasm. So that is about the endoplasm and ectoplasm. Then there are two words, cosmos and universe. Now, in Sanskrit, a word used in our philosophy, Paramapurusha Vishwasya Kendram. Paramapurusha, supreme entity, is the center, hub of the Vishwa. For that Vishwa, in English, there are two words, cosmos and universe. Macrocosm, macrocosm, cosm, Brahmanda, Vishwa, Vishwa Brahmanda. But in English, cosmos and universe. So that was in my mind also. If the universe and cosmos is the same thing, why two words? Why two words? If water means it has H2O, English word is water. I don't think it may be having another word. But in Sanskrit, of course, water has many words, but with some difference. That's why new words have to be coined, some conceptual difference. So what is the conceptual difference between cosmos and universe? I am here to learn. But in Sanskrit, there is no problem for us because it is Vishwa, one word. So, universe, uni means unitary, one, diverse, many. It is diversity, is the law of nature, diversity, diverse. Now divorce, diverse, universe, verse, diverse, universe. So that many to one. The movement from one to many is diversity, and movement from many to one is universe. So I feel, though in that cosmos, it has two parts. One is becoming many, external flow, going away, dividing and dividing, and that many divided, moving towards one, is moving towards unitary, so that is universe. So that is how I conceptualize these two words for Vishwa. As I told you, I have no problem for that with the word Vishwa, but I have problem with universe and cosmos. So universe is the second half of the cosmos, moving towards singleness, and from that singleness coming out, the first part, both together form the cosmos. So cosmos is not half. Cosmos includes both the parts. One becoming many and many becoming one. That is the Vishwa of Sanskrit word. Proper word is cosmos. But universe, physically, science is the universe. The science does not see the cosmos. For them, cosmos, universe may be same. But philosophically, cosmos and universe have some difference. Universe is included in cosmos. But universe cannot accommodate cosmos. Cosmos accommodate universe. So this universe is physical. It started from somewhere and going expanding universe. So where is that moving toward? The science has no answer. Anyway, so cosmos and universe, Sanskrit word Vishwa. When we deal this scientific theory of Microvita, that universe will come, it will be more clear. That's why I have to explain it here. Then comes the real, abstract, and mysterious. Microvitum, the mysterious emanation of cosmic factor. There are four words: mysterious, emanation, cosmic, factor. So, not factor is a part. Total is not factor. So many factors make the total. So it is a somewhere, some part of that cosmic entity. So emanation, not creation. It is emanated. Universe is not, universe is created. Microvita are emanated. Maybe they are created somewhere, but they are coming into universe, coming into the field by emanation. So emanation, mysterious. So word mysterious, Baba used one real, abstract, mysterious. Now there is cosmic existence. And we are part of that cosmic existence. And we are in touch with that cosmos, cosmic existence. So to know, we have sense organs, that is the perceptor. We perceive the truth through sense organs. So perceptional part of cosmos, perceptional part of the cosmos. So that is called real. Scientists call it real. The world is real. That is real. That which can perceive through senses is real. That is reality. And that if we cannot, so it is not reality. God is not a reality. God is not real because we cannot perceive through senses. Scientifically, God doesn't exist because we can't perceive him. But then another level of knowing, that is conceiving. We have mind as a power to conceive. We can know something through conception. Perception not possible, but that does not mean there is nothing more than that. Yeah, mind can conceive of it, though it cannot see. I cannot see atom. Human beings cannot perceive through their senses, eyes or hands or anything atom. But they conceptualize atom should be like that. They imagine, and that with proper mathematical calculation, if it is true, the result should be like that. They try in the externally, and if the result match, then say yes, atom is in this shape. So conceptual truth is conceptual, can be conceived. That is also accepted by science. Then comes the third. Normally, after that, we used to go to spiritual, physical, psychic, spiritual. So far, we were acquainted with this part of existence only, even in Ananda. Physical, psychic, and spiritual. There may be psycho-spiritual, but psychic and spiritual. So, in our existence, physical, psychic, psycho-spiritual, then spiritual. Now, here is the word mysterious. It is not said psycho-spiritual. It is mysterious. So Baba defines it, propounder of theory propound. It is a reflection of conception coming within the range of special perception. You see, very naughty, very difficult to understand. Conception we understand, no problem. But reflection of conception, concept is reflected. Conception is reflected. Who is reflecting it? Without a plate, there cannot be reflection. I see in the mirror. If there is no mirror, my picture, my image is not reflected. I don't know how I look. But when I see the mirror, I understand how I look like this. I'm wearing the turban and specs and so on. Looking not so handsome. I'm looking very old. I feel sad. So, but because of that mirror, I know this. Had it not been no mirror, I would have enjoyed, oh, I am beautiful, still continuing like that. But mirror reminds me, you are not like that. So, reflection. Here, conception is reflected. What is a reflecting plate? Nobody has discussed. But that question, is it reflected? Is it reflected by consciousness? In Sanskrita, that all reflecting plate that comes on the mind, in the mind, is either refracted or reflected. That reflecting plate is called, consciousness called Atma. Same consciousness, but when it witnesses, when it reflects the waves coming into mind, and that is reflecting back into mind, so mind knows, yes, this is because waves are reflected. And there were no reflecting plate, it would have gone into infinity. Now nobody knows what has come, what has gone. But because of consciousness behind mind, it functions as a reflecting. That's why that reflecting consciousness is called Atma. In individual soul, individual existence, behind your mind, you know what you are thinking, what you are doing, what you are speaking, what you are saying, because there is your consciousness as Atma, reflecting plate behind your mind. Had there been no unit soul, you would have known anything. Similarly, this cosmos, that side is a cosmic consciousness reflecting the whole cosmos. That's why it's called Parama Atma, Supreme Atma, Supreme reflecting plate. So here is a reflection of conception. What we can conceive, the concept is reflected. And that reflected, to be known, who is that? Not definitely not spiritual. Baba did not say the reflecting is not. It is the mental part, the subjective, most interior part of mind, reflecting what has come before you. And before that most interior part of mind is consciousness. In philosophically, I feeling, I am, Mahatattva, reflected by consciousness. But here, Mahatattva, my mental plate, the most interior part of the mental plate is reflecting the concept. So that reflection, then that is called mysterious. But it can be perceived. If the reflection has happened, but if there is no perception, how we will know it has reflected? We know by perception only. A special, Baba says, special perception. In psychology, we come across extrasensory perception. Extrasensory. In our the 10 indriyas and that internal and the anahata, it can feel the feelings, extrasensory perception. That has been used, but Baba does not use extrasensory perception. Reflection of conception coming within the range of extrasensory perception. No, he says special perception, a new word. So what is this special perception? Which can see the mysterious phenomenon. So before him, what is mysterious? To him it is visible. He sees it because he has that perception to see, perceiving power to see, which we are not able to conceive, we cannot conceive, and he is seeing it. And what those mysterious things are speaking, we are not hearing it because for us it doesn't exist. For him it exists and he hears it. So these are the special perception, not ordinary extrasensory perception. So extrasensory perception regarding the world only. In a demonstration, Baba made a demonstration that mind has two faculty. You can send your mind any part of the universe and know what is going on there. Mind job is to know. So it will go there and see what this is the thing. Or bring any part into mind and it will know what is going on. So mind normally depending on senses or motor or sensory. But without motor sensory also, mind has a power to go out of body, do the things and know. That is one power, two powers. Baba demonstrated before me in 68 on an AVADHUTA. And that was going and see, what did you see? Go out of Ranchi, go out of Bihar, India, and it's a bridge and a river. What is this river? And you go along the road, what do you see? London. So Baba said, he went to London, mind went to London to know. No, sorry. London came into mind. Mind did not go out. That was a demonstration. Mind going out of body, Ranchi, Bihar, Himalayan border, and see a person in the cave doing meditation. And that was, of course, Subhash Chandra Bose. And mind went out of the body to see what is in the universe. But other demonstration, that part came into mind and could see. That is the But here, that is London exists, clairvoyance, telepathy, that is all extrasensory, parapsychology, perceived through. But here, those entities, not of the 5 elements, whatever parapsychology, whatever clairvoyance, telepathy, regarding the entities of 5 fundamental factors. But here, the entities are not 5 fundamental factors at all, but they exist. So to perceive them, he had to use a special perception, not the extrasensory perception, a special perception. So Baba calls them, they are the mysterious. And Microvita are those mysterious things, not physical, not psychic, totally, not conceivable part of psychic, but not spiritual. So in between the psychic and the spiritual, there is a realm which is a mysterious to even to us all. And that he said, they are the Microvita are in that realm. So they exist. For us, they are mysterious because we cannot conceive of it. Live upon perceiving process, conceive of it. But Baba says, there is a special perception by which they can be seen or heard, their existence can be seen, witnessed. So, but they are had they not been reflected, they would have gone. But they are reflected. So reflected on your own cosmic eye, it is reflected. So this is about the reflection of conception coming within the range of special perception. So for Baba, you can just imagine how it looks like. He sees physical world, he sees the psychic world, he sees the mysterious realm of the cosmos, he sees what I am thinking, he sees what we are all thinking, he knows what is where, who is thinking. What type of personality you can just imagine. So anyway, and he is telling there is an existence, a mysterious existence. So the terms are to be explained. Then comes the terms that so far in yoga, in our last class also, the 7 chakras. Actually, there are 9 chakras, but most commonly 7 chakras do the most of the work. So Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya, Sahasrara. Mane Guru Chakra and Sahasrara. Baba gave a new word for this chakra in Microvita science. So Mooladhara, he called basal plexus, basal or terranean. Terranean means land, Bhaumagata. So Mooladhara chakra in this science called basal plexus, at the base, or terranean because it is ground, bhumi. Next is, for Swadhisthana, use the word fluidal because it is a liquid factor, but it is called fluidal plexus. For Manipura, igneous plexus, concerned igneous factor. Then Anahata, it is the sidereal plexus, sidereal. And Vishuddha, solar plexus, Saura Mandala. And for Agya, lunar plexus, Shashi Mandala. And finally, that Guru Chakra, Baba gives the name occult plexus. Guru Chakra is occult plexus. And just above that Guru Chakra, out of the structure, is the Sahasrara in yogic language. In Microvita science, that is called multi-propensive plexus. Multi-propensive plexus. Thousands of propensive, multi-propensive plexus. So these are the new terminology used in this science. So when you understand, get the concept clear, it becomes easy for you to understand. It is easy for me also to explain. Now I come to the theory of Microvita, the main points. The discourse he gave that covered few points, which in summary form I am telling briefly. So one is the types. So there are 3 types of Microvita. Crude, subtle, and subtlest. So crude Microvita responsible for creation of matter, life and mind. Crude, pro-matter, subtle, psychic, and subtlest, supra-psychic. So subtle living, this Microvita, what is Microvita? Subtle living entity. They are living entities. Responsible for the creation and development of matter, life, and mind. So the main points what he said in that Microvita discourse. The main point, number 1 point, they are living entities. Okay, mysterious, not perceivable to normal perception or conception, but they are living. Responsible for creation and development of matter, life, and mind. These are the 3 main things: matter, life, and mind. So Microvita are responsible for the creation, development of all the 3. How important you can think. You cannot think of matter without Microvita. So far, we didn't know anything about Microvita. We are thinking matter. So many sciences developed based on that understanding. But when you know there is more deeper thing in matter, your whole thinking, science will change. So that will the future. Matter, life. So whatever life you could understand, according we have developed life sciences. That you know, but we didn't know. When you go to the theory, detail later. So, but here we can say only matter, life, and mind, most important constituents of a being, other than spiritual aspect, Microvita is responsible. They have both physical and psychic quality. They are not only living entities, they have physical and psychic qualities. They are emanated by cosmic mind. Where from they come? They are emanated by cosmic mind and move throughout the physical universe. You see, universe, it is given, physical universe. It did not say physical cosmos. Universe is physical, as I told you. So they move throughout the physical universe, which the scientists see through so many things, way, as well as more subtle regions of mental space. This is a new thing. That is not only physical space, there is mental space and there is spiritual space. Microvita science can accommodate all space. So that is about their about big things. Then number two, their nature. What is the nature of this Microvita? There are three, by nature, there are three parts, they type. One is positive, there are pro-mind, pro-health, one for physical health and for mental health, and improving development of mind. That is, pro-mind is positive, pro, and negative is pro-matter. They promote disease, both physical and mental. So, by nature, some are positive with regard to their effect on human beings, and others are negative. Third is neutral. So, in that way, these Microvita are of three categories according to their effect on human beings. Third is categories. So, in broad category of the density, they are crude, subtle, and the subtlest. So, the least subtle ones are possible to observe by most powerful microbes. I will not go into detail these things because so many things are to be dealt with. So, next, more subtle ones move through psychic space and transmit ideas to different minds. Yeah, this is important. So, crude is responsible for matter. Subtle is responsible for changes in mind, lower level. They can transmit ideas to different minds. And the most subtle ones, which can be known by special type of perception. So, which is actually, that is comes here. The most subtle ones are conceivable by special perception. Then, based on the effect, Microvita have psychological as well as social effect by acting on different mental propensity associated with different yogic plexus. You know, our physical body is run by endocrine system and nervous system, brain and nervous system. And behind is the chakras and the propensity, which you have dealt in my yogic class. Physical body run by nervous system and endocrine system. And that physical body is guided psychically by that is a structure and system, that is chakras and propensity. Microvita, they affect the chakras and the propensity psychically, and thereby affect our nerves and brain nerve cells and the endocrine gland, which secrete hormone. In that way, the Microvita not only they influence, affect us physically through chakras and propensities. So then lastly, what is the benefit? Why we should know this knowledge? What benefit we gain out of this knowledge? Why this seminar? Just for formality? But no, it is going to benefit us if we know the science. The understanding of Microvita will help humanity solve many problems distressing us today. Because in our banner, I have given the point, it's the causal factor for our problems and also solution, their solution. Right. Problems are created because of them, and solutions also we can get through them by them. So they are the causal factor. So if you have the knowledge of this Microvita, so then we will know why we have so many problems, why the root cause of this problem, why there is war in Ukraine, why there is going on, why there is COVID things going on. So many problems created by medical problems or war problems or economic problems. What is that? Microvita have any role? Yes. How is it? That is to be learned. So if you know that, understand this Microvita science, it will help us to solve many problems distressing us today. it will cause a revolution because some cough, at the throat level. It will cause a revolution in various physical, biological, and psychological and social science. My picture? Picture nahi aa raha hai? So, it is the foundational science. It is a science at the base of all sciences. So, it will cause a revolution in various physical, biological, psychological, social sciences. How is it? You can see it later. So, you can see how beneficial it is. All we are intellectual progress we are making, life has been made comfortable because of the advances made by science. If the science goes further, then it will make our life, we will understand more, and that will help us in improving our life further. So that is about the benefit. Now I come to cosmology and cosmology. But before I illustrate it by picture, let me say a few words. Human beings are not just matter or living animal beings. We do possess physical body made out of combinations of different physical elements and cells, sensor and motor organs operating through forces within the physical body, the energy or the life forces, distinct from physical forces or energies like electromagnetic, gravitational forces, and controlling nucleus called mind. So we exist with all the three things, but where from they come? But something cannot come from nothing. That's the fundamental statement. Something cannot come from nothing. So the process of creation starts from, where is that something coming from where? The process of creation starts from supreme consciousness, starts from Brahma, in philosophically, in Veda called Brahma, that entity, also known as Nirguna, from one point of view, Nirvishesha, unexpressed with a dormant attribute. Nirvishesha means unexpressed entity with dormant attribute, and Saguna with expressed attribute beyond, of course, beyond the periphery of a human concept, pre-creational. The attributes of operative principle known as Prakriti, consisting of three types of forces, and their characteristics are creation within non-causal consciousness that lies dormant. So I was telling there is an I, existence is I. So then from that, now that I-less I, from that existence, we didn't have even that I, created the first I, existential I, in our cosmology called Mahatattva, caused by the sentient principle. Then there is that existential I is activated by the mutative principle of Prakriti, and we get the feeling that I becomes the doer I. Existential I, which knows, knowing I, becomes the doer I. So doer feeling has come. Then what has been done, happened, it further remains as the done I by static principle. So these are the different stages. Done I, doer I, knower I, cosmic existential I, and an I-less I. Nirvishesha means I without I. So different stages may be mentioned as in Tantric, Shiva, Shivani, Bhairava, Bhairavi, Bhava, Bhavani, in another way. Then 5 fundamental factors or tanmatras, characteristics or dimensions are formed, giving rise to perceptible matter. Further increase in intensity of static force causes Jadaspota. At this junction, the demarcation point of non-living inert matter if a controlling nucleus mind is available, living bodies are created. For simplicity of understanding, we can say that the field is created, and if seeds are sown, they may germinate into living cells. Very briefly, I am telling, the cosmic seed of life may be called microvita. That seed of life, when the field is ready, the seeds of life are thrown into it, and they germinate and come in the form of a sprout of and micro and life. So they are not physical entities like atoms, quarks, bosons, etc., but they are more of pranic energies and psychic counterparts surrounding the nucleus consciousness. I assume our listeners have attended some seminar on philosophy of Ananda. They are little acquainted with it, so that when I speak these things, those who attend such classes, it is not difficult for them. For others, I have to explain what this cosmology is. So after initial creation of life, evolution process starts that depends upon environment or flow of cosmic will. This in brief is the microvita coming from the cosmic mind, from Arana, and bringing life in the universe, and further onward evolution. Now I am illustrating this cosmology with the help of three figures. Figure 1, Brahma Chakra and microvita. The cycle of creation as explained in Ananda Sutram, Anandamara philosophy text, 1960, and explained in Idea and Ideology. So Purushottama, Vishwasya Kendram, starting from Purushottama, the witnessing consciousness, witnessing the creation, comes as a result of the application of the influence of this Prakriti, static influence, static principle, Mahat, Rajoguna, Aham, then from the 7 lokas in the psychic stratum, that is the Satya, Loka, Tapa, Jana, Maha, Swaha, Bhuva, Bhu. The 7 stratum of cosmic stuff, cosmic mind. Then Bhu, that is the solidified. That the subtlest, crudest psychic part, further condensed, becoming matter, one by Vyoma, ethereal, Maruta, aerial, Tap, Tejas, luminous, Apa, liquid, finally Kshitita, solid. So that first part, extroversial flow of the cosmic mind, in the cosmic mind of in Purushottama, that is the projection going out, projected, projection, extroversial projection, and end point is Kshitita, so further compressed. It cannot further condense, it explodes. That Jadaspota, then there is a turning point. From that turning point, that Jadaspota, scientists may call it Big Bang. We don't agree to that Big Bang, but philosophically, that is a spota means explosion. So explosion of the Jada, explosion of the crudest factor. It explodes because it cannot compress the further. It explodes. And when it explodes, all the elements, all the 5 fundamental factors and part of Chitta also thrown out, burst. And that is the field created. So here, matter is there, energies are there, tanmatras, the created in the, when matter is created, tanmatras created, they are with matter. So one by sound, the 5 tanmatras, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, corresponding to the elements. So tanmatras with elements, and with that the energies created because of the force of Prakriti. So at Jadaspota point, we have matter, we have energy, we have the tanmatras. So by just having the 3, life will not come into being. That matter is physical, not at atom is not formed. Let me say, this is the one thing we used to think earlier, even Anandamari, even I, when I had gone through that Sanchara, Pratisanchara and ideology, that formation of atom, molecules are in Sanchara. Are in Sanchara. The sun, galaxies, nebulae, they are in Sanchara. We were thinking, I was thinking, but actually that galaxy, that nebulae, that molecule won't form, won't then atom is formed. And formation of atom begins after Jadaspota. So in Sanchara, atoms are not formed, molecules are not formed, galaxy, sun is not formed, elements are formed, tanmatras are formed. But what is that? We cannot perceive it. We think that we see sun, so through sense perception. But that luminous factor is not visible sun. We can only conceive what would have been happened there. So that is not at all. Physical universe is not there in the Sanchara part. The physical universe begins with atom, formation of atom. So the constituents for forming atom, the subtle particles of elements, Jadaspota. Here comes the entry of Microvita. Here comes in Sanchara philosophy, it is not explained, but life is formed when the three, matter, energy, and mind. Three together form, mind controls the energies in the structure, and life begins. That was what we were taught so far. Without any, without mentioning Microvita, without the theory of Microvita, life was explained to us when matter in proper proportion, by fundamental practice, proper proportion, energy becoming result, interior energy, becoming a prana, vital energy, and mind controlling. So with the parallelism of three, the life begins. And we were satisfied, we were happy. So, and that went on from 1960 to 1986. It went on like that. So in that way, one by one, life evolved, human beings going further. This is about the Brahmachakra using Vedic terminology. Cosmos explained using Vedic terminology without Microvita. Then comes the Tantric theory of cosmology. Same thing. We have to realize it. Shankaracharya said, Anubhuti bina muda vrata brahmani modate. Without anubhuti, without experience, a stupid fellow speaks of Brahma. He has no anubhuti, experience that what the Brahma is. And he speaks of Brahma like a big scholar. He's a Muda, he's a stupid man. So what is important is having the experience. What is Brahma? Have the experience. Then give the word, this is Brahma. So Tantric in Tantra, experience that existence, that cosmic existence is experienced. Lord Sadashiva, in that Tantra, I had explained, Tantra was divided to realize, to experience the greatness, cosmos in us. We are not the small, the molecular, the expanded ocean. So Tantra gave that practical approach. And while conducting practical, you need some notebook. So Tantric theory is a handbook of a practical handbook while doing practices. So that has been included in Ananda Sutra, in Ananda part of philosophy. Here, that three forces encircling Shiva come in balance, form a triangle. Three forces acting on a point when in equilibrium form a triangle. So triangle at the cosmic level, before creation, the forces come to in equilibrium, one changing into another, and in that witnessing consciousness, nucleus consciousness within the triangle, that consciousness is called Shiva. When the triangle is not formed, we cannot call him Shiva. He is cognitive entity. But he is called Shiva when Prakriti, the forces form, come in equilibrium, a triangle is formed. So he is the Shiva, nuclear consciousness of the triangle, and Shakti in this interchanging into forming a triangle is called Shivani. Now, then there is a bursting. The Prakriti balance is lost for some reason. He wished, let me expand, let me become many. So with that wish, with that icha, what happened? That force burst out and came the first straight line expression called Bhairava. It is a sound, Bhairava. I was supposed to take class on philosophy of Anandmar earlier, but somebody told me, my one friend, oh no, Western people, they are more practical, they are not so much interested in philosophy. Chinese people are very practical people. They may not have that much interest in philosophy. So I agreed, and I didn't take that spiritual philosophy of Anand, which should have taken. But now anyway, I got an opportunity, because without having a philosophical foundation well explained, it becomes difficult. So it is not that philosophy, Anand philosophy is not that like another philosophy, some hypothesis. It is a realization of philosophy, must be. Anyway, so Shiva and Shivani that burst out with a tremendous sound that is called Bhairava. Rava means sound. That is the Onkara Dhwani, cosmic sound. And a first expression, potential to expand into so many sounds. So Onkara, Om is the sound in a straight line. Maybe Mahatattva and lower portion, Aham, previous philosophy. Then forms the curvature begins. And Kala then subsequently constricted, smaller wave, and smallest wave at the bottom. Then there is no more further. It has to go back reverse. So in Tantric terminology, that point from which the forces burst out, it is called Shambhu Linga. Linga means Chinna, sign. And the lowest point of creation, crudest level, it is called Swayambhu Linga. So creation is from Shambhu to Swayambhu, and through these waves, energy. So at Bhairava stage, that consciousness is called Bhairava, and accompanying Shakti power is called Bhairavi. So, and the sound it is called Nada. That philosophically, Tantric called this straight line, which is very soundful, terrific sound. It is called Nada. And in that Nada, the consciousness part is Bhairava, and Prakriti, Shakti part, energy part is Bhairavi. Then further Tamoguna, Rajoguna, further condensing waves. Then from there and after Bhava, after Bhairava, when curvature begins, it is called Bhava, that is called so many waves, but that part, third part of creation, consciousness is Bhava, accompanying Shakti is Bhavani. So then has to be the return phase for true sadhana. We will go back from Swayambhu level to the highest and attain again the triangle in us, cosmic triangle. We will realize that philosophical, I will not go into detail now, but for me, from the point of Microvita, from the point of scientist, this is very important. Because Brahma, in the next figure I am explaining, figures are not coming. Antaranga. The figures each of the slide has to be shown.
Which slide you are talking, sir, brother? Now this Brahma cosmology, Nirvishay services you want? The part C.
That figure, Tantric cosmology.
That was there already.
But I am not seeing it anyway. Okay, so that below is that figure. One part Shiva transformed into Bhairava, transformed into Bhava. And other side, it's accompanying inherent power, Shiva, Shivani transformed into Bhairavi, Bhairavi transformed into Bhavani. So
Figure is seen there.
Okay, thank you. Bhavani is psychic energy further condensed to physical energy. So from science point of view, we are acquainted with material energy, physical energies transformed in one into another. But here we have to say to the scientists, this physical
please put off your video. Your sound is wavering.
Put off my video.
Yes. Your sound is waving. Maybe some network problem.
Okay.
Now, please continue.
Thank you. So Now, material science concerned with the various forms of energy interconvertible. Then beyond physical, there is the psychic realm, psychic energy. And beyond the psychic is the spiritual energy. So energy is interconvertible, spiritual converted into psychic energy, psychic into physical energy. And similarly, to go back to the cosmic status, we have to convert physical energy into psychic energy, spiritual energy. So the witnessing counterpart conscious will be that Bhava becomes Shiva by just transforming the energy working within. That is the Tantric approach to realize the realize the cosmic status. In Tantra class, I had mentioned about this. Here only to tell you the importance is why this Tantric, this is a realization. What is physical energy in me? What is psychic energy in me? What is the spiritual energy in me? What is my consciousness status? Whether I am a Bhava, whether I am a Bhairava, whether I am a Shiva. So my cognition part, which I in me, presently we are about Bhava, under bondages. And energy is dealing with physical energy, psychic energy, that is Bhavani. But through sadhana, when we elevate from Swayambhu through practical governed by Sadguru, then we elevate ourselves from Bhava to Shiva. And that is the process. So the point is for the scientist that Bhavani is includes psychic energy and physical energy. The scientist, after this physical energy converted, mass, atom is converted, broken energy. How you will transform this energy into psychic energy? How will you transform this psychic energy into cognitive energy? Shivani, they have no answer. But Tantra has a way to transform this physical energy, psychic energy, spiritual energy. That is the process for that. But here we are not concerned with the practical aspect. I'm mentioning it only because when you come to the third, Ananda, the cosmology and Microvita, here the science is concerned. Other things where philosophy, they are not much concerned. For the scientists of the world today, because Microvita is the foundational science, and so speciality, I had bypassed one point, comes to my mind now, speciality of the science. Speciality of the science. After the terms used, that was some papers were missing. Yeah, and sorry, it is, I have just missed that point. Speciality of the science, third point. It bridges
change the slide.
science. I'm just going back because one point I had missed, which should have been mentioned, and just for 5 minutes. The point number 3. It bridges the gap in our understanding of philosophy and science. Now, philosophy is separate, science is separate. In the world of philosophies, that is separate. Scientists are not concerned. Oh, that you are philosopher. We are scientists. We are practical. We deal with the real. So, in the world of science, philosophy doesn't matter. In the world of philosophy, they don't have connection to the science. It is here in Anandmar, the philosophy, where the philosophy ends, science begins. And where the science ends, philosophy begins. So what is that link between philosophy and science? Hitherto, there was no linking of philosophy and science, though both were trying to explain, realize, understand truth. So truth is different for philosopher, truth is different for scientists. No, it is not that. Truth is different for Western people, truth is different from Eastern people. No, it is not that. Observational difference may be there, but truth is truth. It is independent of relativity. It is universal. So the truth was trying, when an intellect tried to understand it philosophically in a synthetic process, and humanity tried to understand it in an analytical process, in a scientific process. But the truth is truth. So how philosophy and science can come together, meet each other? Where is that philosophy leads to science, or where science ends and goes into philosophy. That linking was not. So Microvita science links the philosophy to the science. So hitherto science didn't have a philosophy. If you go into physics and even in evolution, if it is design, what is the design? Where the evolution is leading? The scientists, evolutionary scientists, based on the Darwin theory, this and that, vitalists, they don't have vision where this evolution has to lead. Similar the science, physics, broken matter, where it will go. So that is not cosmos expanding. Where will it go? Black hole, white hole. What is it? What is the philosophical support for that scientific visualization? Black hole, white? No. So with this micro philosophy, science, we can even explain white hole, what they visualize, white hole, black hole, this and that. And because our science has a philosophical back. And our science, hitherto, there was not scientific support in this proper science. Microvita science, by delivering this lecture on 31st August, December 1986, Baba, what lacuna was there in Ananda philosophy that he made up by giving this science of microvita. Now philosophy can express in science, and science can enter into philosophy through this microvita science. So the speciality of this science is very, very important. Otherwise, scientific circle separate, philosophical world separate, philosophical group separate. So that is not possible. It is oneness because both are holding the same truth. So there has to be continuity. That continuity is provided by science of microvita. The second is the field of study and investigation of the science is our subjective existence. Science is you observe. I am seeing you. I am the subject. I am seeing you. I am talking to you. You are my object. So hitherto, I have been studying my object. All scientific studies are objective. But this is a science, a study on the subject. I make myself as my subject. I make it object and study. So this is the uniqueness of the science. The subject is investigated. My subject is made. My Paramapurusha is made. My cosmic mind is my object, and I study it. So this science is the field of investigation and study is subjective existence. So all the science are objective existence are studied, but here is a study on subjective part of existence. I am studying on my I. This is the uniqueness. So third, this science explains the origin of universe and its further development, origin of life and its evolution, the gaps between matter, energy, and mind. So far, science could not fill up that gap. So where is the mind? Matter is there, energy is there. Where is the mind? The scientists could not find out that mind. They may say so many things, but they could not identify mind in matter, mind in atom. They could identify energy in atom, but they could not identify mind in atom. So next, the science comes under Aparavidya, not Paravidya. In Indian education system, knowledge system, there are two types of knowledge: mundane knowledge, aparagyan, and spiritual knowledge, paragyan. And to learn, to get this aparagyan, aparavidya, that sciences, that to learning process to get aparagyan is aparavidya. To learn get the spiritual knowledge, that spiritual education, spiritual approach to get it is paravidya, Brahma Vidya, that's paravidya. But microvita science, is it paravidya or aparavidya? Is the subject is worldly knowledge or a spiritual knowledge? It is in between. Of course, it does not come under paravidya. It does not come under intuitional science, Brahma Vidya. It comes under aparavidya, mundane knowledge, but touching the lower base of para. It leads to para. It is not going into para, but it leads to para. Whereas aparavidya cannot lead to para. So this can lead to para, and then paravidya we go get the Brahma knowledge. So this definitely comes on aparavidya, but approximating, nearing the paravidya. And the one specialty of this science is delivered. Science is invented developed by Sri Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar, whom spiritually called Sri Anandmurti. Reverentially, affectionately, lovingly, we call him Baba. So he gave this from a source of the science is based on a knowledge from a place beyond our understanding. For example, Baba could see the atom. The atom is made up of proton, neutron, electron, and still electrons made of millions of microvita. Such a tiny thing, without a telescope, without a microscope, without any, he could see, he could perceive, he could see. So he is direct seeing, he knows directly. And he is telling us this is the microvita. That is the one speciality of this science. Not on guesswork, not an hypothesis. By knowing it, telling. So this science is based on a knowledge from a place beyond our understanding. This is one of the specialties. So I had when I bypassed that point and I came to deal with the cosmology in scientific terms. So just a diversion, but it was essential. Somehow I missed that point by turning the pages. Getting old, man. No? So now the cosmology and microvita. This being a science, it is not a bhashana lecture. So one by one, the concept must be made clear so that whatever heard to the best possible understood and question can be heard later. But without making the concept clear, I'll just hurry, see the clock. It is now nearing 5:30. Let me push. I don't like because this is science. The third part of cosmology, central trainer seminar classes, and suddenly Baba called all of us and he took a class. There was a board and some Dada was called with a piece of chalk in his hand, and Baba described and accordingly made the figure. The figure I am showing, it is that figure. Cosmology and microvita, where that is Brahma, Nirvishesha, there is a line outside, Savishesha, then chamber A, chamber, subjective chamber, two parts, subjective A, subjective B. Then this subjective chamber, there is a below, there is an objective chamber. In Saguna Brahma, there are two chambers. In first philosophy, Sanchara, Pratisanchara, these chambers were not mentioned. Savishesha, Nirvishesha not mentioned. Chambers, so subjective chamber and objective chamber. This is scientific thing. Subject and object, language is scientific. So cosmos, there is a subjective chamber in cosmos and there is an objective chamber in cosmos. We understand subject and object. Then in subjective also, there are two parts, A and B, just like left hand and right hand. Hands are two, left and right. So A and B. So subjective side. Then objective also, subjective A has below objective A. Subjective B has and below and objective B. So now four chambers, four parts in two chambers together. So then Baba says subjective A, what is the subjective A? Knower, knowing principle. It knows. Savishesha, characteristic. Brahma with characteristic. What is the characteristic? First, it knows. It is a knowing principle. And Nirvishesha, we do not know whether it knows or not knows, does or not, nothing, without any characteristic. Let us totally leave it. Now we are concerned with Savishesha part only. We are in it. So we are trying to understand ourselves through this figure. So we also have in the same design. So subjective A is knowing principle and subjective B is doing principle. Doer. As I told you, knowing principle is called Gya Purusha. Gya means knowing. Purusha, that entity, consciousness. Purusha is not knowing Prakriti. Baba did not say knowing Prakriti. Gya Prakriti did not say Gya Purusha. It is a consciousness part in cosmos, not the Prakriti part. So, and doing principle, Krita Purusha, doer Purusha. He also did not say Prakriti. Though the power with the Gya Purusha is the Prakriti's power. Similarly, the power with the Krita Purusha is Prakriti's doing power. So these Gya Purusha and Krita Purusha are with powers. Knowing power, that consciousness with knowing power and consciousness with doing power. The power is because of Prakriti. But more important is the Purusha. So knowing Prakriti, Gya Prakriti, Krita Prakriti, Baba didn't say Gya Purusha, Krita Purusha. It's a consciousness. And both is with the, at the nuclear point, that Purushottama. In that way, this Purushottama is cognitive part. When it wants to go for creation, at that point, Shambhu point, that consciousness has two. One with the knowing power and other doing power. So with this power, they play the game. So A will say, for A, I will play on the ground, B objective. And B subjective will say, I will play on the ground of your ground. So I will play on your ground. B says, I will play on your ground. So B, objective chamber, is the playground. A subjective ground is the players. So player A, subjective A, play will in the objective B, and subjective B will play in the objective A. That much is clear. I will apply my power, subjective A says, on your field. And subjective B says, I will apply my power in your field. A very good understanding. No quarrel. Why you are working on my field? So very happy adjustment. So that is the thing. Now what is this field? Objective A field is planes of propensity. You know, we have propensity. Cosmic mind also has propensity. That's why I told you, we are living beings. That universal entity is also universal living being. We have a unit mind. That cosmic universal has a universal mind. Entire universe it takes into fold. So to handle that universal mind, it has all propensities. So all the propensities we have, same propensity he has. All the sounds we have, all the sound he has, cosmic level. So that planes of microcosmic unit minds and cosmic mind with that propensity, that is the subjective B, objective A. A below is the objective A propensity. And in the subjective B, and below is the subject, below is the objective B. What is the objective B? The planes of inferences. When we come to matter, you know, Chitta, Bhavani, that vibration, waves in Chitta, waves in matter. So there are two types of waves. That waves in Chitta, psychic part, waves in material, matter part. Waves in matter part become inferences. So planes of inferences activated by subjective A. Baba, while taking this class, he say it is a bit difficult subject. He himself said it's a bit difficult subject. And I am handling this difficult subject to you. Please see how difficult for me when it is for him also, he said it's a difficult subject. And and it is a new school of thinking. It not only say in addition to the philosophy, it is a new school of thinking. And Aham Tattva Mahatva don't equate with it. So that is all to be further studied by us. What is the subtle difference? But now to give you an overall understanding, I am dealing it. Much is yet to be learned by all of us. So what should I say? Planes of inference. So tanmatra, the psychic stuff, that waves, tanmatras, matter, that forms the objective B. And objective A, that lokas and koshas, propensities. Okay? Loka, koshas are not in objective B, they are in the subjective B. So where is now Microvita? I'm telling all these things because it is in the subjective B, doer I, there lies the seeds of microvita. So in doer I chamber, that is subjective B chamber, microvita are there in seed form. Seed form, ready to sprout. Baba's word, ready to sprout. I was also in that class. Baba's, by grace, I was privileged to be there in that class. How Baba sitting on the chair telling and that other drawing and the figure. So only one time Baba did not give any lecture on this further anyway. So that is the only discourse coming in the microvita nutshell, last discourse, last class. So the lokas, koshas, propensity all in objective A, and matter inferences all in objective B. Now microvita, doer I, they are in the seed form. As soon as Jadaspota happens, then they rush, they emanated from that direct into objective A. And they are the designers. You get the cloth, I will make your dress, shirt, and trouser and everything. They are designers. Give the material, they design. They have got the material, matter, tanmatra, energy, and they design. And this is the atom. And different types of atoms are designed by them. They condense into form an electron. And everything is what say material content, mass, they are from microvita. So microvita become enmassed, energy comes into it, they hold it, and they give a coverage, and they become atom. So in that atom, and Baba says, when it goes to physics, we can say deal that. Anyway, this is the philosophical part. So microvita theory comes as a class where Brahma with characteristic Savishesha, where he has 4 chambers developed in that cosmos level, subjective and objective, divided by A and B, and one working on other field, A working on B field, B working on A field, and what is that in that field, that is explained, and you can get the notes later and see it. So this is just like we have an anatomy, we have a physiology. Anatomy is a structure and physiology is a function. So in cosmos, sanchara pratisanchara is functional. It's physiology, cosmic physiology. And this what's a Savishesha, Nirvishesha, here the figure given is a structure, it is standing. It is the structure of the cosmos. And sanchara pratis is the function in the cosmos. In that way, just like we have anatomy and physiology, in cosmic also a structure. This is the structure. And function is through sanchara pratis in the flow. In that way, there are 3 approaches to know truth: philosophical, sanchara pratisanchara, tantric, realizational, and the scientific approach through a subjective and objective. And in scientific approach, they come to collect it. Then scientific approach, the microvita comes in the field, and it is these microvita, they form atom, they make an atom, they break an atom, they mold the mind, they make a mind, they break a mind. That means atom and mind. How microvita, so much they are responsible making and breaking. That is philosophically explained here, cosmology, microvita. And with this, I complete part 1 of microvita. Part 2, part 3, is there so much to do? Question?
We'll have next class also.
Yeah. So, it is no use of just rushing the subject and saying blah, blah. We can have the next class that in which we will deal with part 2 and part 3, because the foundational work, something has been explained, So I can go ahead. So if you all want, you can please tell me, should I go ahead with the part 2 or we ask for some questions here?
I think we should go with questions, Dada.
Huh?
I think we should go for questions because it's quite heavy. If go with the second part, it will be quite difficult to.
Correct. I agree.
So shall we go for questions, Dada? Dada, unmute yourself, Dada. Dada Rameshwaranda, please unmute yourself. We cannot hear you. Please on your speaker.
Dada, you please put on your video also. And put on your video.
Now you can listen me. Okay.
So anyone has any questions, please, you can ask Dadaji.
Yes, please.
Yes, Piyushji, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, Dada, we can hear you, Dada.
Okay.
Who want to ask question, please come forward.
Namaskar, Dada. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Dada, does atom has mind?
Yeah, atom has mind in a dormant form
Okay.
because whole creation is psychic, and there is no empty space anywhere. There is macro psychic connection. His wish, his desire is there. What we call empty space, there also is there. No gap. So in atom, yes, there is mind, but in a dormant state, not expressed.
Okay. In one of the lecture by Baba, I do not remember that lecture. They told that microvita, that negative microvita can affect the static bonding, that is the what we say Chitta Tattva and Mahat Tattva, and positive microvita can go beyond that.
You can please please a little louder.
Okay, so I do not remember that lecture. In that lecture, I thought that the negative microvita can affect the Chit Tattva and Mahat Tattva, and positive microvita have the range to go beyond that. What we say the Satogun or the Mahat Tattva.
We have not touched the subject.
Okay.
The microvita in science. Okay.
Okay.
We have not taken that subject. That's all dealt there.
Okay.
But as you ask now, we don't have to connect microvita with Mahat Tattva and Aham Tattva.
Okay.
And because
So
microvita, their range, positive microvita can move up to Ajna Chakra, where Mahat Tattva is there. But it cannot go beyond. And negative microvita can go up to Vishuddha Chakra.
Okay.
It cannot go to the mind directly. It cannot go to Agya Chakra directly. In Agya Chakra is the center for Mahat Tattva and Aham Tattva.
Okay.
Agya Chakra is the center for knower eye and the doer eye.
Okay.
Negative microvita cannot go to the Agya chakra. That means it cannot influence the knower eye or the doer eye.
Okay. Okay.
It can move up and down from Vishuddha to down and down to Muladhara to Vishuddha. But if at all it has to be taken to Agya chakra, some person of spiritual power can push it up.
Okay.
And similarly, if a person spiritual power or devil can push up the positive microvita above Agya chakra, to Sahasrara,
Okay.
to Guru chakra. That is called grace.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the range of movement.
Okay. So does microvita affect, I mean, is that the thing with which that those tattvas are being formed, or is it cruder than those tattvas?
Which one? Which part? Excuse me again.
The microvita, is it the something with which the tattvas are being formed, or that is the microvita is cruder than those tattvas?
There is a Pancha Mahabhuta, okay, that is matter. So negative microvita or positive microvita, the crude form of microvita. Microvita, crude and subtle and subtlest. And crude also positive, negative, both are there. So crude microvita is pro matter, before matter.
Okay.
But chitta, there is a chitta and matter. There is a gap.
Okay.
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 Chitta becoming, moving and condensing into matter, or matter sacrificing becoming chitta. But microvita is not neither matter nor chitta. It is in between. The crude microvita is in between chitta and matter, ethereal factor.
Okay.
Subtlest matter and crudest chitta. Microvita is in between, a silver line. Okay. The subtlest microvita, that is the mental extra psychic, that is the borderline between idea and chitta tattva, that is ectoplasm.
Okay.
It is just below idea.
Okay.
It is neither chitta, neither matter. But behind chitta and matter, there is a realm of microvita.
Okay.
What I said, mysterious, that mysterious is spreaded behind chitta and matter.
Okay.
It is subtle, because it is subtle. So it is neither matter nor chitta, nor even the idea. So that's why it can form, organize the matter. It can organize the ectoplasm stuff also, because it is neither ectoplasm nor matter. That's why it is able to organize matter as well as chitta.
Okay.
They are the builders. They are the builders sent by the cosmic mind to do whatever cosmic mind wants. It is done through whatever cosmic consciousness wants. Cosmic mind does through microvita. So microvita is the task force sent by the doer eye to materialize the wish of the cognitive wish of the nirvishesha.
Okay.
Supreme One wants to create. So that Savishesha is created, and Savishesha doer eye is created. The doer eye carries out what the Nirvishesha wanted. They're sending microvita, it gets done. Whole universe is created, done through microvita.
Okay.
Parama Purusha directly does not do anything. It is done through microvita.
Okay. Thank you, Dada.
What we say,
Thanks a lot.
Vata Yoga, Prota Yoga, connecting, unit connect to the cosmic, that Vata Yoga, Prota Yoga is through microvita. They are the link between.
Okay.
How unit mind is connected to cosmic mind. Yeah, through Vata and Prota Yoga. So Microvita come here. So they not only they create blocks of creation, they are also designers doing all that carrying out. Though they have the conscience, Microvita have the conscience.
Okay.
So that will be dealt when we come to science, energy, etc. But now time being clear. So is it neither matter, not chitta, ectoplasm.
Okay.
Next.
Thank you.
Please raise your hands. It will be more easier if you want to ask questions.
So what can we do now?
Waiting for brothers and sisters to ask questions, Dada.
But when we deal the second part, Microvita in science, so interesting things.
Dada, one question I want to ask.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yes, please.
Dada.
Yeah. Go ahead, please. Tell me.
Am I audible? Yeah. Without going into complexity of such a complex topic, you have said that Microvita influences the endocrine glands through propensity. Can we practice it in our sadhana to change our propensity or our bridges? Is it possible? And how we can get help from these Microvita of 3 types in our sadhana?
You see, you don't have to worry. Microvita do their work, you do your work. When dealing with cult, Baba says, what is cult? Our spiritual practices are all part of the cult. Okay? Our spiritual practices
Yeah.
are part of the cult. And cult means where Paramapurusha is the goal, where Supreme Consciousness is the goal, the effort to attain him, that is the cult. And Baba says, if the cult is proper, where the cult is proper, the positive Microvita will come to help you automatically. And when they
Okay,
help
Dada.
you,
Very nice.
yes, please.
So we should regularize our practice to get help from the Microvita.
When you do Kirtana, positive Microvita will rush towards you to sanctify your premises, to purify your mind, purify your cells. They do their job as soon as do Kirtana. That is the Siddha Mantra Kirtan, Baba Nam Kevalam. That is the miracle. What Microvita say, Kirtan gets it done. Through Kirtana, Microvita compelled to do it. Samuhik Bada
This
Sadhana
is the principle behind.
Not
This is
clearly
the basic
audible.
principle by our minds and physical, spiritual strength.
Not clear.
Hello.
Please, not clearly audible.
When we do our kirtan
Yeah.
with pure mind, these Microvita help us to move towards a supreme. Hello.
Microvita are bound to help you. The Kirtan mantra is so designed, so made, empowered. They create those vibrations, and positive Microvita, they come to help you, help your progress.
Okay, Dada, thank you.
Baba says, by doing satsanga, by doing sadhana, by doing kirtana, by doing social good thinking, positive microbiota are attracted. They are moving towards. By doing bad company, bad thinking, bad deeds, negative thinking, negative microbiota rush. So they are the cosmic arrangement, part of the cosmic arrangement. Keeping the cosmic arrangement, Sadhguru has designed a way how you can evolve further, and thereby positive microbiota cosmic things come to help you. So that is already, they have been given duty, and knowing the duty, the cosmic entity has designed the sadhana marg. So if you sincerely follow the spiritual guidelines given by Sadhguru, by Baba, so you are helped from all around.
Okay,
Just
Dada,
to give-
very.
In our next class, that is also very important, where when we deal the physics properly, the limitation of physical science, how microbiota, man, in that period, in that class, I have to see the entry point for microbiota in sciences. The sciences have gone quite advanced, but they have come to certain position, and there are some weak points. How microbiota can get into that point and explain, improve the science. So that is the subject of when we come microbiota in science. The physicists have a problem. What then? Unable to explain. The microbiota will come to help them. This is how we can. Similarly, medical problem, medical science. How microbiota can solve the improve the medical science. So in every science, microbiota has a theory of microbiome has an entry point. And what is that entry point? Evolution of life. What is the entry point for microbiota theory in evolution? Origin of life. There are so many theories. What is the entry point for microbiota theory in the explaining origin of life? So microbiota science being the foundational, so it has an entry point in every science, either to develop. So that will be the subject for us, and we deal the microbiota in science. Some of the questions you raised, that microbiota and spirituality. The questions are answered in the subject class, microbiota and spirituality. So that's why the topics are so selected. Today we could give only the philosophical support and conceptual clarity for the classes on microbiota. The foundational work has been done. And in our next class,
Ravi Dada has raised, Professor Ravi Pratap Dada has raised his hand. Dada, please ask your question.
Dadaji, namaskar.
Namaskar.
My query is, unless this microbiota concept is a good philosophical concept, but unless the scientific community accepts it, and unless it is scientifically proven, unless it is scientifically tested in the labs, it cannot get recognition. The common people cannot understand it properly unless the scientific community accepts and tests it.
Yeah, I agree.
For that, are any efforts are there to get scientific recognition for this concept?
Yeah, very good question. Or very well-placed question.
Yeah.
Because Baba said, I have given this theory 170 years in advance.
Okay.
So the future of all sciences will depend on this science. But presently, it is very infancy stage.
Yeah.
So we want to become a microbiota scientist. if you want to be in a scientific circle, you have to be a scientist, a microvita scientist.
Yeah.
Like atomic scientist, nutritional world scientist, or any scientist in any field. In field of microvita also, we need to develop microvita scientists.
Okay.
That means training to be a microvita scientist required. And what are the advantages of microvita theory should be known. What are the disadvantages of microvita theory should be known. In future, what steps to be taken. So all these things are to be worked out.
Okay.
Today, all basics of something are told, and I have not dealt the microvita in science. So how we can, the scientists will appreciate, accept us. You have to talk to them, explain to them in their language, in the prevailing theories, prevailing in scientific circle. How you will explain your microvita theory in that context, that is to be explained. We need an explanation. It is there. Whether astrophysics or physics or chemistry or life science, yes, we have an entry point, and scientific entry point. So that has to be told and that has to be developed. But we have a limitation. What is to be done? That advantage of microvita hypothesis, I tell you. So, okay. Our disadvantages are deduction is exponential, have problem. Do not know what kind of human experience correspond to the new particles. All the things I have not dealt it. So must develop something other than intellect. That means humanity has to go from intellectuality to intuition.
Yeah.
The problems are not able to be solved by intellect. Some intuitional backup are required. Microvita science can lead us to that realm. That's why I say subject to the objective realm, objective to the subjective realm. So
And
you are very right that in the scientific community, we have to microvita science to be established. We have to create microvita scientists, people who know very well how to do microvita research. I have not dealt here. In the next class, what do you mean by microvita research? How it is to be done? What are its tools? What is its methodology? So all things are to be done. Now only elementary you are told about microvita theory. But to be established in scientific circle, to establish scientific, much work is to be done. Research work is to be done. And Baba says that, what did you say? Necessity of microvita research. In that he says, now there should be extensive research work regarding this microvita or this microvitum or this microvita. Our task is gigantic, and we are to start our research work regarding this microvita immediately, without any further delay. Otherwise, many problems in modern society will not be solved in a nice way. Baba says this, research is required. And so research requires proper clarity about the avenue, scope, roadmap, tools, mode of investigation, modality of interpretation, parameters of verifiability, or corroboration of the findings, such that anyone with requisite knowledge and expertise can undertake the experiment and study the results. So research in psycho-spiritual space is radically different from the research in physical laboratory. In case of microvita research, the experiment has to be undertaken by the researchers in their respective psycho-spiritual space, but the results are to be tested in the physical laboratory. So a research devoted to study and research on microvita must have adequate knowledge about the psycho-spiritual space, tools of investigation, and so on, so things. Okay. So, and Baba concluding, he says, we are human beings with a developed intellect. I think, rather I hope, rather I am sure that the day is sure to come when human beings will have proper control over this microvita. And continuing, he says, I think by dint of our spiritual sadhana, please remember, please see here, I think by dint of our spiritual sadhana Rather, our physico, psycho, spiritual sadhana, our minds will develop in all strata. And the power of conception, the power of conceiving will also develop. And with that developed conceiving power, we will know all the secrets of this microvita. So there is no other way but to develop our conceiving power. And to develop that conceiving power, Baba says, I think by dint of spiritual sadhana, rather physical, psycho, spiritual sadhana, our mind will develop in all strata, and the power of conception, rather the power of conceiving will also develop. And with that developed conceiving power, we will know all the secret. So research is required, sadhana is required to, so that we are able to do that research, because research is in the mental laboratory. Conceiving power is required. So how that will come? Baba said, do sadhana. And with that sadhana, we will know the secret. And we know the secret, we will explain to the scientific community. The results will be tested in the physical laboratory. I had conducted this research work in 2010 and 11. A team of Margis who were interested in this research, Professor Aditya Kumar Mahanki, Professor Uttam Pati, and Professor Loknath Pradhan. They were part of my team, and with few more people, we have tried to see how to charge microvita, water with microvita, and see that kill the cancer cells in a laboratory. Some success was achieved, but then lack of some coordination, we could not carry on. It is there, result will be there. So that is the future work. Now people who are interested, Margis who are interested and intelligent enough, they must come forward and see how we can go ahead with this such an important tool Baba has given in our hands. Otherwise, many problems will not be solved. How the spiritualist will control the world? Sadvipra Samaj. When it comes to say, sprout will be established by Sadvipra, and Sadvipras will be controlling the world. Chakra Kendra Sadvipra, Chakra Niyantraka. How they can control the world? That people with having so much devastating weapons, the war is going on. How are you going to control them? Will they listen you? Economic war going on. Dogma war will be happening. How people will listen you? How you are going to control the world? It is only through microvita. So I have not dealt that astra mentioned in Mahabharata, Brahmastra, Divyastra. What are these astra? Microvita application. So Sadvipras, the spiritualist, can control the world dominated by the materialist and our demons and human form. How are you going to control? What science, what power you have? Not only spiritual power, you require microvita strength, microvita power. That is what we have to be, research is to be done. The future, if humanity has to move towards spirituality, if dharma is to be established, sadhana is to be done, and Guru has equipped us with this science, it is our responsibility to develop this science, do the research. What Baba, he says, immediate work should be taken to do this microvita research. So in scientific community, we will be, our people, spiritualists come up enter into the scientific field. They are not doing social service activities, giving talks, spreading ideology and doing sadhana. They have to enter in the scientific circle, scientific field. Spiritualists must come forward into the science. That is through microvita only. We will enter into genetics. We will enter into medical science. We will enter into physical energy sector. We can enter into all the sciences with the conceiving power and intellectual temperament, scientific temperament. That is the work. So that much is remaining. Now Baba has given us a theory, demonstrated, even one episode how from a different planet, some microvita, negative microvita has come and affected our training center in Ahmedabad. Many people started developing the same disease. One died. And when it was reported, Baba said it is due to a negative microvita from different planet. Then he made certain things. That first incident of microvita therapy. It was in my topic for the class to be next. So there is a microvita therapy to deal the negative microvita. Corona is one negative microvita. It has come through smell, inference of smell. That's why you close the nose. If the microvita come through eyesight also, gaze also. Microvita, if it comes through sound, are you going to close your ear? So future of microvita science is very, very must, because so many viruses may come in future and create so many diseases. Medical science does not know what disease is. People may start dying it. How are you going to protect? Only through microvita therapy. So whether the problems due to physics, chemistry, biology, all has a solution in microvita. But we have to do research and develop this science. Being a good disciple of such a great guru, so we have to work on it. That is the thing. Okay. Namaskar, Didi. Now we can go ahead for 5 minutes Kirtana.
Yes, Dada. I would like to request Didi Ananda Parashakti to sing Kirtan. Thank you, Didi Parashakti, for such a...
So let me
Yes, Dada.
do one Shanti Pata to conclude. Okay.
Okay, Dada.
Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Sarve santu niramaya. सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। परमपिता बाबा की
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dada, for giving your time and sharing your knowledge with us and giving us this knowledge. It's a very difficult topic, but it was very nice class today. And I hope everyone tried to understand this topic, and it became very easy from this class to understand Microvita. Thank you very much, Dadaji, again to you. And we'll be continuing this Microvita class again in the next class.
next month.
Next month, huh, Dada? Okay?
Yeah, next month. Remaining portion I will complete.
Next month, the last Sunday.
Next month, not last Sunday.
Yeah. So next month we'll be having on the last Sunday continuation of this Microvita class. So I thank everyone here, and Parampita Baba ki jai. Namaskar. Parampita Baba ki jai.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Parampita Baba ki
Namaskar.